Let's take a look at our sample data. In this example, let's say that we have a guest list that we're tracking where we have a list of people who attended the charity events in the previous year. See, this has 62 rows. And in the different spreadsheet, let's say we have a master database here or a list of names of, say, the members of a church, and this one has 51 rows. Hello everyone, how's it going? I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to my channel. I'm Vandalia. Nice to meet you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I'm going to show you how to use VLOOKUP with table objects. It helps you save tons of time. Now, this tutorial is geared toward beginners. Please feel free to download the Excel file I'm using down below in the description box to follow along. And just like the name implies, with VLOOKUP, we can look up value. We can use VLOOKUP when we want to search for specific information in the dataset or from different spreadsheet or even different workbook, and then return information from a different column in the same row. It is important to know that VLOOKUP always look up in the very first column, so in the leftmost column, and then return a corresponding value in the column to the right. This is great for reconciling data. So our scenario today, let's say that our church will host an all-inclusive fish fry dinner and charity auction for a fundraiser event. In that dinner event, we want to raise $3,000. The goal is to have at least 50 people attend the event, and then we can have them pay for a plate of food. Now your task is to send out emails to people communicating about this event. Here's your challenge. You need to get an email address for your marketing because the church offers pre-sale tickets and you want the information to be out as soon as possible. We want to compare these two lists. We're looking for email address, and we also want to match the name in these two different spreadsheets so we can see whose email address is still missing. One thing that we can do is check our spreadsheet if the spreadsheets have a common reference, meaning a unique identifier that we can use in the first column of each spreadsheet. It is essential that both of the spreadsheets have to have the same unique identifier for each person. In our example here, we have a mobile number for each person, so we can use that to perform our VLOOKUP formula. Now, we just need to do a little bit of prep by creating a new column in the leftmost column. So in the first column, where we're gonna pull in the match mobile number. I'm gonna select column A and right-click to insert. So now we have a blank column and I'm gonna call this number. Now I'm gonna copy the mobile number and paste it to the column number. If I hover my mouse between A and B, I will get this cross-like cursor. Once I double-click that, I can make my column wider to fit the widest cell that I have selected. Next, I'm gonna repeat this exact same process on the other spreadsheet. Our sample data set is in the tabular format, but we're going to improve it by converting it in an Excel table. First, make sure we're selecting inside the data range that we want to turn into a table. And then go up to the Home tab and then follow the ribbon, then select Format as Table. Then you can choose something like this one. Check the box, my table has headers. And you can see how everything is selected. Now you have a table just like that. When I select a cell in the table, notice that the Contextual Table Tool Design tab becomes available. Here we can see the table has been given a default name, Table 1. The first thing you should do is rename the table with something meaningful, because this will help you reference the table and its content later on. We can rename it here simply by clicking the field, and I call this one Guess and press Enter. Next, I'm going to do the same process for this other spreadsheet. Once you create a table, any new column you make here is a part of that table. I'm going to add 3 more columns to the guest table because I want to pull in the email address, the home address, as well as the state. So now, how do I pull out the data that I want to see from a different spreadsheet? And I'm going to show you how to use VLOOKUP to do that. But before I do that, let's review. I start by entering equals, VLOOKUP, and notice that as soon as I do that, right down below, we see a helpful hint that tells us what argument we need to fit in to this function for it to be able to work. Open parentheses. The first argument is the lookup value. Basically, what is it that you know? We know the mobile number, so the mobile number is the lookup value because we want to pull the email address of this mobile number from the member table, comma. The next one is table array. Here, you need to select the range of the dataset or table that you want Excel to look at. The quickest way to do this is by selecting the table reference name. Our table name is member, comma. Now, let's go to the third argument, which is the call index num, that indicates which column of the table array you want to return. Now, we want to pull the email address, so we want Excel to return the email address from the member table that match this mobile number. So we need to start counting from the start of the member table. Here, the start of the member table in our sample data set is in column A. So if you look at this, the email address is in the 10th column. So I know it's column 10 I wanted to pull from. So I will type 10 here, comma. Lastly, the range lookup. Here we need to specify if we want an exact match or approximate match. For our scenario today, we want to find an exact match. So I will select false, then close parenthesis and press enter. And at that point, it's going to drag the formula down. Now, let's see this in action. Now, by default, Excel will use table syntax as soon as you convert this to a table. However, you're not required to use it. So what you could do, you could go under File, select Options, and under Options, if you go to Formulas, there's this checkbox. Use table name in the formula. Just uncheck that box, then press OK. I'm gonna delete this for a second and redo it. Now I'm going to do equal sign, select VLOOKUP, select the number as the lookup value. See, now it says 82. Then I select the reference table name, member, comma, enter 10, comma, insert false, then I press enter. It's still going to work the same way. Now, as you may have noticed that the VLOOKUP has returned a few #NA errors. This resulted NA errors means it couldn't find a match for the mobile number in the first column of the table gas. To create a better experience, we actually need to combine the VLOOKUP function with IFERROR function. The IFERROR function in Microsoft Excel can help us handle some of the error that can come up. We can use this function to set a default value if there is no match in the data. To use IFERROR function, we just need to add the formula here. It is better to use the formula bar up here to edit our formula. So I'm going to click here right after the equal sign and type IFERROR. Then our VLOOKUP value is already here. Then comma. Then type not found in between two double quotation marks. Then close parenthesis. So if there is an error, I want it to return as not found. Not found is our default value when there is no match. The reason to why we want to use table object is when data get added to a table, three things automatically happen. One, the table formatting is applied to new row or column. Two, any formulas are copied down to the new rows. And lastly, the range of cells the table refers to adjusts to include the new data. Now in my book, this scores some brownie points. That's all I have for today. I hope you find that useful. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to watch more tutorial video like this one, please consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next video.